Welcome back to the Real Grind, guys. We got something different for you. We're gonna teach you a 2 hours webinar, so you're probably gonna have to grab your pen and paper. And I'm just kidding. Hey, man, I hope that you didn't turn off. But if you're still here, we're gonna be covering today. This is actually it is our 28th episode. Man, 28 episodes, dude.
It's more than...
And one per week. We're doing solid one per week. Religiously, man. One per week. And I know we couldn't do this without you guys' support and you listening and sharing downloads. We just came the other days with the stats of how many downloads we had in a month and our engagement and our reach. It's just being very impressive. We're super honored and humble by you helping us out. You know, and if you do like this content, your support is by you listening, sharing with your friends. And my name is Neander Lima. This is
Italo, your coffee guy.
Let's go.
Waking up to success. Now we're getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on, go and make coffee. The real grind. This is the real grind. Let's go.
And today we're gonna talk about our 3 favorite episodes for us, and we're gonna comment why. So first is the segment is gonna be, I'm gonna talk about what do I like the most about the message, and Nitro's gonna bring the best part that for him was this coffee. It was special.
Absolutely.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
And if you're listening, of course you can listen in, but if you're watching this, we're here in a different segment today. We got the Real Grind magical desk right in the middle here.
Got a little bit of a change, right?
We look like commentaries for sports, right? So, all right. So the first one that I want to cover was our first number 1 episode with Justin Martinez. Brother, Justin, if you're watching this, man, you've made history here because you were the first one, man.
He was the pioneer.
He was the pioneer, and something that he said, it was really powerful, man. You know, he's the first one. We just started with the right foot because it was awesome. It is still up to today one of my favorites, not just because we have a great connection with Justin, but because he also is a great guy, very outspoken, and our connection that we have with him.
Absolutely, and it was one of those things that, like, me bringing the coffee into the show and all that stuff, I didn't really know what to expect. You know, I was super afraid that he wasn't gonna like it, but on the flip side, he did something that was really cool. He brought his own coffee for him to try it out on the show, so that was really neat. And
we're like, you brought his own coffee. Oh, this must be that's gonna suck. And we're gonna and I told him, like, before we start recording, before the set, I was like, dude, if this is bad, we're gonna roast you live.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, I take the challenge.
Yeah, and it was great, because for being the first episode, he set the record straight in there, and he set the bar high for the upcoming guests. Because so yeah, if you're all listening there, if you're coming to the show, I dare you to do what Justin did. Bring your own coffee.
If you're there, you gotta take the challenge.
I know.
But we're gonna listen to this part now. That is one of the things that he said. I don't want to make a comment on it, so let's go.
So I got a scholarship for place kicking to Texas State University, full ride there for place kicking. But it was interesting. They kept pushing me in the direction of, I need to learn about computers. I need to learn about marketing, and I was like, well, that doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess everybody's telling me to do that. And then, of course, like, I'm sure a lot of stories you'll hear that come on the show that are investors. There was a little book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, wow.
Remember reading that book in the living room at my mom's on Christmas vacation. Game changer.
Dude, that
being
book
an investor
has
and
just
marketer.
changed the life of many people, dude. It was just unbelievable.
Aha moment went off in my mind, right? Aha moment went off in my mind of all this conditioning that takes place of how you have to do things. Go to good school, get good grades, go to college, get a degree, get a job, find a wife, settle down. All that conditioning that take place, it blew all that out of the water. I felt like some new life was in me of how I can pursue life from there. So that's where the journey started.
Okay, so first comments that I want to make, man. How powerful, how this book changed, especially in our industry on investing. and entrepreneurs, how much this book influenced people, man. It's just a book called The Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read it. I don't know if you have, but a lot of folks have, and that just creates, man, the trajectory of some folks, man. And like to see what they are today, to be like, have we read this book? Majority of them are gonna say yes. So whatever the system that we grew up in it, that will set this path for us that he just said, right? Hey, go to school, get good grades, be a good employee, get, this life and path, contribute to your social security, to your 401k all your life. So hopefully when you retire, you have enough to live and die, right? But what is the people that are doing, like, breaking the cycle and doing more by being entrepreneurs, by investing, by thinking outside the box, And I see our generation now, Italo, especially this time and age, that more people are breaking the cycle because the internet facilitates this more open and exposed. Absolutely. Right?
Absolutely. And it's funny because like the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, first time I heard about it was in Brazil. And the more I meet people, when I say the more I meet people, I'm saying like here in the US, people from all over the world, a lot of the people that I know that are very successful, they have touched that book. Sometimes they haven't finished it yet, but they have read at least part of Rich Dad Poor Dad, and they gave them like some sort of a north to understand what it is to break, what you said, the cycle of how to do things a little bit different outside of the status quo, right? So it's pretty neat to see how impactful one book can be in the impact that it makes on this new generation now, and even our generation, and it's still alive. That book's still kind of like a big thing now.
But look at this interesting fact. This book came out in 1997. So we are 2023 right now. So 1997, that was a whole different world, man.
That's 26 years ago.
So there's a totally different world about this pattern. And it comes this guy.
Internet, none of that.
So come this Asian guy, Robert Kiyosaki, and comes out with the thing that it's the same thing if you be like, sometimes when you are into something like Teflon for pens, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody used for generations. Generations was so convenient. Every household had a freaking Teflon pot, and there's them. And all of a sudden, it's cancer. It'll bring you cancer. It's very bad for you, whatever. So he came in and just broke this concept of what is a successful person by you.
That perfect like cake recipe.
Exactly. Getting that book of the black book of what do the rich people think for. That's why there's two comparisons of the rich dad that he had, how his mind would think, like how to be an entrepreneur, how to invest, how have money work for you. And he's poor dad, that how he worked for the money. So I just want to point it out, this section, that he's not the first one that came into the show that referred or quoted this book.
That's very true.
And I'm sure that as we're doing more and more episodes, this is going to come more and more.
100%.
And if you haven't listened to this book or read this book, there's actually audio versions as well. I highly recommend you to do it. It will, I can't say that would change your life, but it changed a lot of people's lives. For me, I didn't have the same experience. I read the book, but for me, it was more influential of people that I admire, that I followed, that had read and followed the book. So at the time for me, when I read this book, it was a different experience for me.
It didn't really speak to you how he speaks it now.
Yeah, exactly. But I highly recommend, man, that you understand what is the other side of, and it's just a perspective, and I highly recommend. But now,
guess what time is it?
It's Italo's coffee time.
So this was a pretty neat experience with Justin there, because like I said, he did bring his own coffee. He had just gone to a family vacation in Hawaii, and he knew that he was going to come to the show. And he does say that he went on a venture to find the best coffee he could find in Hawaii to bring it to the show. But one of the coolest things about this is that Hawaii, I actually talk about this on the episode, is Hawaii is the only state in America that is actually able to to grow coffee.
Did you believe that, man? Forest is so natural, especially like where we're coming from
Yeah.
in Brazil.
In Brazil, you
Like
throw
the-
like an actual seed like this, and you pop up right there.
Yep.
It's
And
so-
here's like knowing that they only, obviously Hawaii is really far away from the motherland,
Right.
but still to know that, still a USA territory, and to know that they have coffee, which is awesome coffee.
Absolutely, and it's great. Anything that's from Hawaii is the closest we can get from the flavor from places like Brazil,
That's very
Thailand.
true.
Like,
The fruits.
like everything there just tastes like it should.
Yeah. Pineapples.
pineapples.
Mangoes.
Oof.
Like
Everything.
man.
So let's play this clip right now for Justin, so we can talk a little bit about some cool things about the coffee that he brought to the show. And I was talking to Justin a little earlier. It's very unique, man. The coffee that he brought us is from a farm that everything there is sustainable. Everything, right?
Absolutely. So it's a sustainable farm where the fruits and vegetables only go to two places. Their restaurant, which is in another city town in Maui, as this is from a little Maui proverb there that they grow this coffee on the hillside of the mountain, and the actual farm where they invite guests to come in and have a 4-course meal. Everything you eat is grown from this farm. And of course, when it's time for dessert, they obviously give you coffee. And when Megan, my wife, and I had this, we were like, okay, this is the one we're going to bring on the daily grind.
That's amazing.
Daily grind.
Justin, I want you to grab yours right here.
Okay, thank you.
Neander, go ahead and grab yours as well. I don't want to
let's
reach
do
over.
it.
One thing that I want you guys to notice on this coffee, too bad you guys can't see this at home, but you can see all the oils.
Watch out that slurp. Slurp alert.
Drink it like you're drinking a hot soup.
Okay.
So you're gonna allow all the oxygen to go in your mouth, and you're
Okay.
gonna get all the notes from that coffee. in there.
This was a time that you
Dude,
could
this
still
is-
see your legs under
This
the.
is so
the
good.
desk.
Yeah. So it was great, man. And it was actually a very good coffee. And I think, I'm not sure if I ever had Kona coffee before. Maybe I had, but at the time we're not very much of paying attention to the
Yeah.
same way that we do now. It's probably just came, as unnoticed, like, hey, this was
Right.
good coffee. And,
But it's pretty cool too, like the whole idea. What makes this specific episode super special is the fact that it came from Hawaii,
yeah.
sustainable farm. He picked the coffee. So the whole experience for the three of us in there was pretty cool, like knowing that coffee came from like a farm that you don't really see that type of stuff here in America. And like within reach. What I mean by that is like if you leave your house like right now and you want to say like, oh, I want to go buy coffee from this people there have like a sustainable farm. It's very hard unless you go to one of those like farmers market. And then you're paying a lot of money for that kind of stuff.
And one last thing that it's interesting. Remember that farm that we visited in Caparaó, Pé de Breu?
Mm-hmm.
I shout out to our friends Pé de Breu, by the way. But the way organically that they grow their coffee, in between the coffee plantation, in between the coffee trees, they plant also bananas, charity, stuff like that.
Oh, cherry and stuff. Yeah.
Because that way, for example, a banana falls from the tree and kind of goes in the soil. They believe that kind of has to do with the whole floral thing, right? And it's not the taste per se, but it kind of ecosystem there with
absolutely.
that, and it's all organic. How if you go to the forest, that's how it is, right? There's not a
That's
just
how
one-
nature-
how nature is, and that's really cool about it.
Yeah, it's basically you eliminating as much as the human side of the
Correct.
growth, like the tree growth as possible,
Yes.
right? So that's as natural as it can possibly be.
Absolutely.
That's pretty
And there's remember in California, a couple years back that they have a massive fire. in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
for-
in the
in
forest.
Napa Valley.
Mhm.
Did you know that the next harvest, they actually the wine and the grapes that they got, it actually had a smoky flavor.
Really, because
Yeah.
all that, wow,
Because
it
of the
affected the
smoke.
soil too.
Yeah. All right, number 2. This is gonna be one of my favorite episodes. Look, I like them all, but this was like moments of this episodes that for me was really nice. And this one in particular is the kids episode.
Oh, dude, I was cracking up on my corner there. Just
Dude, it was
they
great.
were awesome.
Even though when we started the episode, it was playing video games.
I was playing my my Switch. Yeah, that was such a fun episode, man. Because at first we didn't know what to expect, but they blew our minds in a way that I wasn't ready for that.
You know how I had that vision of inviting the kids is like, I have 2 little kids, right? At this time of this recording, my oldest one is about to be 5 and the little one's 2. And I watch follow Grant Cardone, and I love the aspect of how he brings his kids into his business. They're super involved and such, and I really like that about him. And my dream is to have my kids be involved in what we're doing, and I think every parent kind of do, right? So, and then we've got those kids because when I used to work on those events, I remember those kids are coming to real estate events and conferences and watching and taking notes. Some of them I knew, some of them I didn't, and I just they gotta come here. And we did a call prior to the actual shooting day. We did a Zoom call just to because in my mind I was like, man, this can go really well or this could go really bad. Right. They're all shy, and one of the little kids start crying and shit. I don't know. I didn't know what to expect, right? I never worked with kids before. That's just me.
And being in front of the camera is a different beast. Even though the kid's amazing, like you talk to this kid on a day-to-day and he's like, oh my God, he's so cool. And as soon as you get in front of the camera,
we had grown-ass men recording sometimes in the studio, and they shut down. They shut down. It's the nature of things.
It's that famous stage fright. It's a thing. It's a thing. People get here, and so we were very
There's
scared
studio
of that
frights, that even performance fright. Anyway, not the subject for another hour. This is for adults only. But look, and this episode in particular is that when we did the pre-call with them, it just went super nice. How bright they were, and how they had a voice, right? They had an opinion.
They logged into the Zoom, like, of course, with their parents' permission, all that. They logged into the Zoom basically by themselves. Like the parents were just there, like, you do your thing, and they ran the show. It was
so
super
let's watch a little bit, and I did a very interesting question for them, which I also was very interesting response, and I want to ask the same. So let's take a listen to this real quick. So I have a question for each one of you. What would you rather have? 100,000 followers on any platform you choose, or $100,000?
$100,000.
$100,000.
Easy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so easy.
I don't even have social media.
I don't really I have social media. I've done social media
interesting.
marketing for my mom. So I'm very
And
proficient
you don't
in
think
it.
you could monetize 100,000 followers?
I mean, I guess I could.
Now they're thinking about it.
Which I guess now that you're saying that would be a very good long-term
correctly.
thing.
Think about if you have 100,000 followers. If 100,000 followers, let's say that, obviously you could grow out of that. And that can turn into, let's say $1, somebody buy a pen for $1 each. It's the same thing. So would you guys leverage that? Because that's important too in our future, right?
Well, the thing is, you never know if you're going to get more followers and stuff, but with the $100,000, you can go and invest it and get more money out of it. You're going to.
Yeah. Well, for me, I would get the $100,000 and then I would use some of that money. And if I wanted to get more followers on social media or anything, I would use a little bit of the money to put into marketing and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. You look like you have a different opinion, sorry.
Well, you can look at both sides. You could get all of your 100,000 followers to donate $2. And that
makes 200,000.
But I mean,
You got answers from every angle.
I know, but they all said the same thing because they all said right after the bat, they said they'll take their $100,000. What would you do, Italo?
Knowing what I know today, I'll definitely do the 100,000 followers.
Why?
Because
what would you do with it?
I'll definitely, because one, it's not based on your question. Those are not bought.
No, I said legitimate.
Right?
Yeah, let's rephrase the question.
It's very organic.
Yeah. This is legitimate 100,000 followers that like you.
They like my product or whatever I'm
Yes, well, he likes you.
Right. So just like Sawyer was saying on there, that 100,000 can turn into 200,000 so easy. One single product that I launch, if I have 50% adoption of my product, I'm already winning.
Right. And that's why influencers now do. They have, let's say they're
100%.
in a music career, they're great artists, but then they launch this new brand, right? And Austin, what would you do? You get $100,000 or 100,000 followers?
I don't know, man. I'd probably do the 100,000 and just run for the woods. I can live off $100,000 pretty well in the middle of freaking nowhere.
That's legit too. That's legit.
Austin is going off the grid for a little minute, you know.
And you know what? This is very very different answers for any type of situation, right? Because for me, like,
What would you do?
yeah, I'll take the followers. You know why? Because I have $100,000. Like, for me, the way I know business today, our businesses, for me to get $100,000 is no longer a big challenge. If I was in their age, $100,000 would make more sense. That I will make probably more than a followers, right? Yes, you can look at both ways.
Absolutely.
But nothing replaces also having cash in hands, right? Because now you have 100,000, but it's people that you don't know what is your conversion rate,
Right.
right? Is out of the 100,000, is it what, 50%, 40%, 30%? So in that perspective, makes also you are assuming that they will buy at least something that from you that will cost $1 to break it even to the concept of having $100 cash.
Right.
It's the same concept of some payouts, the lottery, right? Would you want, let's say the payout is, for example, 25 million in 5 years.
Yeah.
Would you get the whole thing, or would you get, hey, the price now it's half, but I pay you today?
I had that conversation last week, because last week the Powerball was 1.1
you
billion.
keep buying that shit, man.
And the payout in cash was 555 million if you want the cash right away. Or you can take the payments and that will give you as close as possible to 1.1. But again, if you get 500 million, if you know what you're doing with that money, you can double, triple that amount before
sure.
that last payment of the payout.
The thing is, the payment is already a lot of freaking money.
It is.
Right. So definitely it's something that you can live with. So it all depends on your profile.
Right.
Because again, you can get $100,000 or $1 million to somebody that knows how to multiply, or you can get $1 million to a bozo that would just spend and shit.
Right.
So it goes both ways.
It's a very interesting question nowadays, because it's just to wrap up my train of thought in here. The cool thing about this question that I thought about it is you gave them a question showing them two types of currency that we use nowadays.
Yeah.
One is the actual cash. The other one is something that can produce a lot of cash.
It does.
So it's mind-blowing how it is nowadays.
Another perspective you could do, not just they buy something from you, but that would be brands, because you have 100,000 followers.
I was going to say
If you
that.
show engagement, they
be
will
paying
sponsor you. So there's a ways also a guy that's which is not my case, but somebody that is very shrewd on how to manage that asset as far as following. They can make also banks.
100%.
Right? So it goes both ways. But here it is. We had to hear from the kids. I love those kids, all of them, man. And actually, Vitaly is the one that came in the very, very last. He showed up with his sisters, thinking that he was not going to be part of it because he was part of the interview. But that kid was like the highlight.
Oh, man.
Watch that episode. You guys going to enjoy it a lot.
Absolutely.
All right. Now we're going to do some coffee time, man.
This coffee time here, it's like I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. Because it was such a special episode.
Was special, man.
A very special episode. So it was so heartfelt. So many like nice stories in there. And this is the Mother Day special. So Peggy, Neander's American mom, you're amazing. Just want to make sure give you a great shout out. You're awesome at the show. You're such a good sport, because she doesn't like coffee. So that was a challenge from the get-go. And I was like, oh my God, what do I do?
She told me when I was inviting her to the show, she's like, oh, I don't think I'm a good fit. It was like, you're a perfect fit. And she added so much value and touch in the business side of her family and the whole thing, man. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So you added a lot of value.
Yeah. But the thing is, on that episode, because as you guys know, at home or in your car or at the gym, whatever you are, I always try to bring a different coffee per episode, right? And on this specific episode,
we happened to be trying a coffee that I just got as a gift in Brazil. So it was a blind test for me, for Neander, because a lot of times I'll get this coffee like 2 weeks before, a week before, so I know exactly what that coffee is.
I have a different opinion. You just shot yourself in the foot by putting that coffee with the person that don't like coffee, man. What the hell? I am, dude. No, seriously. Okay, we never talked about this, but actually, if you had to put that coffee that we drank today, she might actually appreciate it because she likes tea. She likes tea.
I know. It was a ballsy move. Very ballsy.
It was a very dumb move. Sorry, but it was, bro.
But this is the thing. Like, this guy gave me this coffee, as you guys probably have heard me talking about it on the show. And
we had the redemption, by the way.
And the only reason why I'm bringing this one up, it's because of how everything developed from that episode going forward. So if you want to just play it now so you can kind of take a look at it real quick.
Give it a good smell. It
smells amazing.
It's different.
It's different.
I think it smells good though.
It's different than what we usually are. Because here's another deal. Time out. This comes pre-ground. We don't like coffee that comes already pre-ground, but that's all he had. Because I like to grind my coffee right there before then.
Fresh.
So, but let's see. Let's give it a shot. And
so what you gonna do? He was gonna, just like your mother said, and you would have said to us not to slurp. But slurp as best you can.
I'm cringing right now watching
slurp as best as you can, because that just for the first one, that's how key grade is. And then
like right there, you can tell. I already smelled it, and I can tell it's not gonna be good.
Ready?
Yep.
Everybody's face is like, ooh, look at me.
Does it taste like your regular black coffee, like dark?
No.
Hey, dude.
Isn't it a little fruity, a little bit?
But you know what's throwing me off a little bit?
She's trying
to be
every
nice.
Single,
like
in her
everything,
soul,
everything
she's trying to like it just a little bit. She's trying really hard. She's she's trying to find the last note in there, something. She's trying, man.
We love you.
Ice cream the whole time. So she's probably having a different.
She doesn't like it. Tell more.
No.
You know what though? Here's the thing. It tastes like the coffee my mom and dad used to drink.
Really?
That's what it. That's what it smelled like.
Like
that's
shit.
What I loved the smell.
I'm cringing right now, but the only reason why I want to bring this up, it's because like the whole idea of like giving something a second chance. If he was for Neander, we would never try this coffee again.
That's so true.
But
and I say that with yes, very true.
Because it was bad. The experience was bad. But I did something that I learned a lot here on the show, actually. It's always be honest, always be true. And that's why we call it the real grind. Be true to your opinion. Because a lot of times that's going to bring you better things than if you just try to be polite and don't tell the person what it is, because that person will never have the chance to fix it. So with that coffee, as soon as I stepped out of here, I sent the guy, Oscar, a voicemail. And I was like, hey, dude, we just tried your coffee and I'm going to be honest with you. It was not great. But I told him what happened. He's like, I can't believe they gave you a pre-ground coffee. Like that wasn't what's supposed to be given to you. It was supposed to be whole bean. Fast forward, you can see that same coffee, the same brand, but now with whole bean, has been on our show 2 more times. And that coffee has been a redemption coffee for another coffee that was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if I have taken that coffee experience and that was the truth. That wouldn't be fair. So that's why I wanted to bring this one up, because I thought it was so cool that we actually got the chance to try it again. The guy was like, I'm going to pick you up at the airport, give you a bag. And
I have to say that, yes, you're absolutely right. I probably just finished right there because, you know, I'm all about giving people a chance and opportunities.
Absolutely.
It's fine. It's okay. But like, that's the thing. I didn't have that experience with the guy. You did.
I did. Yeah.
Right. So, but I'm glad that you got the coffee and we tried it. And he was like, that's the thing, man. There's 2 kinds of people. Or either if you tell the truth, you're going to add massive value to the other person by telling you the truth.
It's very dangerous.
Or if a person is insecure by any means or whatever, he's going to be offended and he's going to, those people are not ready for feedback and they don't like feedback, right? but those people, their growth is very slow.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But now the guy came in, we feature him multiple times. I publicly say it, and I'm saying again that his coffee is actually really good. Yeah. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and I appreciate it. And that, guess what? Good for him.
Yeah. And that's what I call great customer support. It's all about the customer. He's like, hey, that's not what you're supposed to have.
Exactly.
This is what,
and it's the same thing.
Cool.
We have had feedback of, the show. Some people gave very constructive feedback, but if it was in other shoes, people might take it offensive, right? And I just want to say, you take it or leave it, right? Feedback is like this. You take it or leave it. But if you think it's constructive, somebody give you a good feedback, man, take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. But yeah, that wraps up this one. But just wanted to bring this up because I think the message is beyond the coffee on this one. And Peggy, once again, thank you for being a good sport.
I love you, Peggy. It was great.
Please come back. I'll make you a good one.
All right. And this come to our final and third section, one of the favorite parts.
Our third and final.
What did I say?
Final and third.
Tomatoes, bro. God dang it. I'm glad on the show he's far away from me, because otherwise I'll keep hearing this shit the entire show. God damn. All right, so this was a episode that Mo came into the to the show. The guy that I was part of this network of investors that it was a program, and I was part of it for about 5 years. And a person that you see him often, but you never talk to him. So I know who he was. I've been to one of his properties on a bus tour. He knows who I was. I knew who he was, but we never actually talked until this mastermind group that we formed for a couple individuals, and he was brought in from a friend. And for the first time that I talked to him, we bonded in such a great way that I was like, man, how come I haven't been friends with this guy all these years, right? And invited to his show, he not just added a lot of value, but it was really a lot of chemistry in a conversation. That was really nice.
Absolutely, yeah. I liked his episode because he was so. You can tell the passion that he had about his business, the passion that he had about his life, the passion he had about his family, and all of that combined, it was the recipe for his success.
Yeah. And he's a type of guy that he's very reserved from who he is. So in a mastermind, obviously, that is a more of reserve and more of a, under the radar kind of safe environment that you share things and your struggles and your successes, but what the stuff that he was sharing and or his successes, man, I was blown away. And I was like, man, this guy is all so and he was also very proud of our accomplishments and vice versa, which it was great.
Not be afraid to think big and dream big, but more importantly, act big, right? Take big actions, right? So you can do anything. Don't limit yourself. The only thing limiting yourself is yourself and your own mindset. I would say surround yourself with people that you really enjoy their company. People are going to challenge you. People are going to push you to get to the next level of your journey. Find coaches, credible coaches and mentors that can help speed up your journey to wherever you want to get to. But at the same time, with that journey, remember to pick your head up every now and then, live in the moment, and just don't let life fly by, really appreciate what you got. And then I think the last thing I would tell myself is it's more of a warning. At some point, this beautiful, bald Brazilian saxophonist is going to approach you to come on his coffee show, and you need to just turn around and run. So that's my final warning I would give myself.
Dude, that was such a beautiful message. And it was I was not expecting that, by the way. But one thing, this, before the bald Brazilian guy, everything that he said is what I live for today. Is my belief system today.
It's like your motto.
Yeah. And for a few reasons, right? One of them, I'm not in particular order, but one about surrounding yourselves with people, the right people. We're actually talking about this today, right? There was some bad parts of my life and things that I was going through. And if I look where my surroundings were, like, you know, it was the answer. And now where are we at, and who's there surrounding ourselves to? And, you know, we're in the middle of this challenge of trying myself to improve and be better. But, and, you know, that's a big influence. And another thing that he said is to think big and dream big and act big. What does that mean to you?
Don't limit yourself. Don't sell yourself short. That's the way I look at it. Because you're the only person a lot of times that can't stop yourself.
Yes.
Everything starts from you.
You know, and today we had, Italo and I had a call with a service provider that owns on ad campaigns. And, you know, as you guys know, we do have a presence online, and now we're getting ready to get our brand to the next level by doing some marketing to outreach more customers, more investors, and, you know, to sell our course or get in touch with us. We're working on that. And today we had a pre-conversation with the company. That's what they do. And when this guy gave me this price tag, it was it's way out of my comfort zone, right? When he gave me this, how much does he charge? And this scarcity mentality automatically shuts you down. Like, man, this is great. You know, what the fuck you think it is? And you start creating your mind, your brain start already creating forms of defeat, of like to sabotage this new information that you got.
You start putting up like barriers.
Exactly. And this all your mental playing those kind of tricks with you, man. You know, and then I said this to the guy that when I got scared of the price tag that he gave me, but then he's like, what is taking you from moving forward with this barrier is yourself. He called it. And not just that I admire the guy to say these things for you, because remember when I said earlier, when somebody confident talks to another confident person, there's not a clash. There's understanding. But if I was weak in my mind and this guy was very powerful the way he said it to me, he was trying to sell me something, but he was very powerful on what he said and very straightforward. I could have just be offended. Oh, you piece of shit. What the fuck you think you are? You know what I'm saying? I have all this, blah, blah, blah. And I can be in a conversation, but I took it as a challenge and a confidence that I need to be comfortable with that stuff. But what is taking me to be comfortable is my limiting belief and then I reflect right there immediately of myself. If I would have tell myself, Neander and Dalia, about 5 years ago that I was going to be where I am today as far as of the amount of transactions that we're doing for real estate, for multifamily, we are under contract today, this current time now, for a $26 million property by ourselves. And now we're bringing a couple sponsors, but still I wouldn't believe you. I would have been like $20 million. In my mind back then, we're probably going to start building all those limiting beliefs and all those sabotaging why I shouldn't deserve, why I shouldn't. Oh, no, I don't want to be this big, whatever. It's in our minds, you know. So, but when you manifest that growth, it's like, I want to get to that. So today, he planted this seed in me, and it's like, man, how can I get to be able to afford and make this successful so I can reach? So it's basically you investing to receive, right? So that's my 2 cents there. And thank you, Mo, for sharing this thought, not just added to me, and I hope added to you, Paul, and I hope it added to you that are listening at home.
Absolutely. It's one of those things, right? Just very quick, that's my point of view on it. Going back to what you said in the beginning, you are an average of the 5 people you hang out with. 100%. You're an average of the 5 people you hang out with for everything you do in life, for your hobbies, for your habits, for the things you do, for your vices, no matter what it is. If you're struggling with something, look around you. Most likely there are 4 people in your group of friends that are struggling with the same thing, and that becomes the normal. So that's why you don't take action. That's why you don't do anything. Remove yourself from that circle, and guess what? You're ready to tackle those problems in a different way, because now you're outside of that circle, and you're gonna see that it's not okay, or maybe it is okay. You know, you can work for good or for bad. So if you want to be successful, surround yourself with 5 people that are very successful, and you're gonna see how you're gonna take off. But at the same time, surround yourself with 5 people that are pretty much just going downhill, get ready because you're going down very
And you
quick
can say
too.
whatever you want. You could be like, oh, that doesn't really influences me. It does.
It does.
Okay, it does. There's proven. You're not the only
There's
one.
studies
You're
on it.
not. There's tons of, and you can analyze yourself. And if you're not seeing that right now, it's with you.
Yeah.
It's within.
No, that was really cool what he's sharing there. I really appreciate it.
And now it's the coffee time.
Yeah, it's the last coffee one in there, and I thought this was one of my. Every time I see it makes me giggle.
It's hilarious, man.
It makes me giggle. So the backstory on this, every time I get a coffee from my subscription, I bring it to the office and I show Neander. And Neander, whenever I show him this one, his first reaction was, ugh, this smells like rat. I was like, what? What are you doing out there smelling rats? Like, to begin with, what does a rat smell like? But that was his conception on
Okay,
it.
have you had hamsters before?
I had a hedgehog. Like
Oh, really?
Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, I
yeah.
had
They
one.
stink the same, right? If you go to that little cage to change
Yeah.
every couple weeks, it stinks, and it smells the same, dude. It's very similar how it stinks. So that's how you smell like. As soon as I open it, I don't,
Oh
dude.
my
And that's
God.
the thing. There is, but look at this point of view. There is coffee that sometimes it molds inside of the bag,
Right.
and a moldu or a mold inside of a bag. It's very similar to that smell that I'm describing.
I never
That's
made
so-
that correlation, but I can see what you're saying. But
yeah,
I just never
that's
made.
why the first thing that came to my mind. That's why I was like, shit, this smells like rats. But if damn Italo come and brings this up, this was off camera and Paul was not even here, but and he brings a guest. How insensitive you are, dude. Just coming in the show, it's like, oh, by the way, I just served you this, and this smells like rat.
Right, but here's the only reason why I served that coffee, because one, I tried the coffee, I liked the coffee, so I wouldn't serve somebody something that I didn't like. So
It actually was not bad. It was not bad.
Because with Peggy, I didn't try it beforehand. Otherwise, I wouldn't have served her. This one, I tried it. I liked it. You had a bad point of view on it. I was like, well, I liked it. I made a latte out of it. I drank it on a V60. I liked it every single way. So I was like, I'm going to prove Neander wrong today.
Let's
So
watch it.
let's see.
And
It does taste a little bit like rat.
let's see.
Is that the tail I taste?
Let me see where it was roasted at
It's
Disneyland.
good.
So I
It's
guit
good.
is Mickey Mouse, right?
No, it's good. I
It is
like
actually very good. It's very
It is
different
good.
body tone to it, you know,
Right,
but
yeah.
it's different.
So I don't know if y'all remember him telling me that I judged the book
Damn
by
it,
its
I wish that
cover.
was bad so I could say it was
So
No, this is good.
Yeah. So it says that it's supposed to taste like toffee and marzipan. Can you educate us in here, foreigners, what a marzipan is?
Marzipan is like an almond paste. With
Did you know
sugar.
that?
It's very good. You put it in.
You're an asshole.
But see, like, he shut me down. But I love those moments. Like, that's one of my favorite moments of the show, because a lot of times, like, it surprised both of us.
Yeah, it
with
did.
something.
It's actually did. It's actually that coffee. I have to say, when I'm wrong, I'm the first one to
Yeah,
say,
you
man,
are.
it was actually not bad, but it still smelled like a little bit like.
But I love how
rats.
Paul, I love you, dude. How you play into the role that you're like, yeah, I can
Sounds like
taste
a bit like rats. The
That was-
tail.
It was amazing, man. That was amazing.
It was
But
great.
Again, I always take the coffee time to bring it to something else. And what I love about this one is the message about, like, don't judge the book by its cover. I suck at it because I do buy a lot of things, but just by looking at the packaging.
But that calls
draws me.
marketing, dude.
Yeah,
a lot
it
of
draws
us are
me
drawn
so-
to this
oh
stuff.
my God,
you know,
man.
especially us that like that aspect of design and
Mhm.
colors. It does attract you a certain way, and it's scientifically proven also that it is actually a attraction to that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. But it's crazy because, like, you go to Alto, Caparaó, there's a lot of great coffee in there that they don't have any marketing. So you get the coffee just in this little brown bag, and it's probably gonna be the best freaking coffee you ever had in your
Our
life.
own coffee that we're bringing, you know, like it's not the best
Yeah,
case.
the packaging. But that was the message on this one that I really enjoyed. It's like, even if you tried something and it's amazing, coffee for me and coffee for you can be something completely different. But always drink whatever you like the most. That's what I always wanted to say on the show, is like, there is no such a thing as the best coffee in the world. The best coffee in the world is the coffee that you like the most.
and the timing that you're having, who are you with? There's a lot of factors to
Oh,
it because,
absolutely.
it's one of the most social events of gathering. It's having, even it's a common thing. Oh,
Historically.
let's have a cup of coffee.
Historically,
Right?
yep.
So
Coffee time.
you can have a badass copy with a bad company, or it can have a not too good of a copy, but a badass company. Did you put it that way?
Yeah.
Right? So there's variables in that too. And by the way, check out this episode. This was one of the episodes of all of them too. They had a lot of educational components.
Yeah, about the American economy, what's going on.
So Paul is definitely an icon in our industry of real estate and lending. He's been around here in the DFW market for a long ass time. So he's seen deals get traded for like multiple times the same deal. It's very, very
the
knowledgeable.
amount of knowledge this guy
Yeah.
has is amazing.
And their conference is coming up.
That's
the
true.
Old Capital
Yeah.
Conference.
Y'all
We're
should
gonna
check
be
it
there.
out.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Guys, it was great. Actually, I really like that dynamics. And I hope that we brought you guys a little bit of the highlights of our highlights too, of things that happen here at the Real Grind.
Yeah.
Super excited. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the team, all the team, the crew that added those episodes, the ones that recorded this episode. You saw Austin
Absolutely.
today for the first time here in the studio. You'll get $100,000 to run the hills.
Yeah. We're going to do a GoFundMe to Austin,
yeah.
but we're not going to let him run away, though.
Yeah, we're not gonna let him run away.
But just make sure you guys hit that like button. He always gives us a great support. Make sure you like us on Instagram. We're on every single platform you can think of. You can watch us or you can listen to us. We're going to be there. And remember,
always,
what do we say?
thank you so much, guys. And always, hold on together, bro.
This is
The Real Grind.
Let's go.
Oh man, I
Cheers.
work a biceps the other day. Like, look, my arm doesn't go farther than that. I was like,
Neander's got T-Rex arms right now. See you guys later.
thank you.
Thank you.
Waking up to success. Now we getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on gourmet coffee. The real grind. This is the real grind. Let's go.